let's get into our conversation. Evans Mensah joins us. And look, it's all about the brand new show, Just Turned 18, a show that is designed to test the pulse of first-time voters. Now, this is a large group of people. According to the Electoral Commission, there are about 851,635 first-time voters estimated to be on the roll for 2024. Now, this is important, bearing in mind that in 2020, the margin of victory was just about 517,405 votes. Okay, so this is a significant enough group to determine who wins the 2024 general election. So Joy Prime has produced this important show as part of the election headquarters, just to keep our finger on the pulse of this important group. Evans, let's talk about the first episode, which took us to Jamestown and discovered some very interesting thoughts among those who will be voting for the first time. What to you was the biggest revelation?
I mean, the fact that many of these young people are as disillusioned about our politics as we adults who have been voting for a while. And they draw that experience from what they've seen their parents go through, what their parents tell them, but what they've also observed in their own lives growing up. Many of these individuals who spoke to young men and women, tomorrow will be the first time they'll be joining a queue to pick up a voter's ID card. And that for them is fascinating. Some of them are looking forward to the opportunity, not because they necessarily want to get a voter's ID card so they can vote in the December elections, but just the fact that they can queue, and it is a validation of them becoming adults. You know what I mean? So that for them is exciting. But they also have very interesting, nuanced ideas about politics. Some of them obviously want to make a difference. They really want to join the queue, not only tomorrow, but on December 7th, so they can decide, in essence, who will govern this country in 2025. And I found that very interesting. The disillusionment among that group of individuals, these young, first-time voters. When we were voting in 2020, they were not 18 yet. They've turned 18 post that, already disillusioned.
Yeah. Now, we know that the governing NPP is relying on the gratitude of those who have benefited from the free SHS policy, who will certainly be in this group of those registering for the first time to vote this year. Do you think that reliance will be, paid back in full?
Well, if you listen to this group that the team spoke to in Jamestown, you get a sense that the free SHS magic is wearing off a bit. There's some of them who still remember how important it was for their parents, taking them to school and not paying anything. The parents come home and they tell them about how it's become cheaper, more affordable to put them in senior high school. But there are many of them who have post and since the free SHS era, and the time that they were in school. Now I've heard their parents talk a bit more about the difficulties that they're going through, the economic hardships, the fact that they struggle now to pay the transport fare for them to go to the university. And it's a struggle now, having graduated from the SHS level, right? And so it's really mixed. It's hard to say. In 2020, it was very clear that the free SHS was big for this group of people when we did that show at the time. Now it's a bit more nuanced. These young men and women now are hearing the parents say something different about the difficulty now of taking them to the university and keeping them in university and paying their bills and their fees.
Now, you talked about how evolved their political thinking is, even at this point where they are only now going to take their first opportunity to vote. But their mindset, their political frame of mind is already quite well formed. Does this feed into this general belief that, people tend to inherit their political affiliation from their families? Did we see evidence of that?
Oh, definitely. And there was a part where we discussed the influence that the parents have had on them, right? And we actually, in the next few episodes, we will be having a conversation with these young men and women together with their parents, because we got that very strongly from this conversation. And they talk about their parents' frustration, and it's almost as if the more frustrated you hear your parents express their challenges with the current economy, the more disillusioned the young person is about the electoral process. But so clearly, Kojo, you see that playing out. And so we want to test that a bit more in the subsequent episodes. Put the young men in the same room with their parents and let them have a conversation about the politics and the elections this year, and see, just to tease that out a bit more, and see how the parents' views on the elections and political party preferences may influence their votes on December 7th.
Now, where are we? Where else are we intending to go with this show? You've already talked about this very interesting idea of this, meeting up with the first-time voters and their parents. What else do we want to discover as this series unfolds?
So, in the next few episodes, we're going to have Star Ghana partner us for a couple of just under 18 programs in the Eastern region. And that is going to be based on a bit more research and data that have been collected in the Eastern region that we'll feed into. And we'll be talking a bit more about the key issues that will influence your votes. This one we've done that we're going to be airing right now was done solely with the voter registration exercise beginning tomorrow in mind. So we're gauging specifically whether or not they are excited to queue to register. We didn't want to talk about the voting just yet because we want to test whether they want to register first. So the next episodes, when we have Star Ghana join us, we'll do more about, focus a bit more around the issues that will influence the votes. Yeah. And then we'll also have Youth Bridge. Youth Bridge also will partner us for a few shows, a few just turned 18 shows. That will drill down a bit more, and we'll be choosing these communities where we go quite carefully to drill down to the education issues, to the health issues, to the governance issues, the democratic questions that we expect these young minds to engage on. And so all the key issues that adults engage on the daily basis on the radio, we want to see and hear how these young first-time voters are also engaging on these same issues in our coming episodes when we are joined by Star Ghana and Youth Bridge.
This is going to be quite a show to watch. I thank you very much for giving us this peek behind the curtain, Evans. Why don't we listen to a quick wrap of the first episode of Just Turned 18.
Hello there, and welcome to the maiden episode of Just Turned 18. Here, we dive deep into the mind of prospective first-time voters as they prepare to register on the 7th of May 2024. My name is Loishola Adeyemi, and we are currently here at Akan Manjen in Jamestown. Known for its rich history, cultural heritage, and lively atmosphere, Jamestown provides a unique backdrop to gauge the pulse of first-time voters on issues that will determine what will happen in the voting booth. You'll also get to hear from these first-time voters what it means to be participating in Ghana's democratic process for the first time, and also get to understand issues that will determine if they will register to vote. Let's get talking to our first-time voters. Hello, guys. Hi. All right. Good energy right here. Now, let's get straight into our conversation. The limited registration is a few days away. Let me come straight to you, William. How excited are you to finally find your name in the, voters register?
Oh, I'm very excited actually, because I get to also have the opportunity to vote and select the leader.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be registered as a voter of this nation. Yeah, I'm super excited. That will give me the chance to also voice out on the person to lead us. Yeah.
Now, Abigail, everybody seems to be saying that they want to, vote to register so that they can be able to vote and select their leader. Is that the same for you as well?
I want my opinion to be taken into consideration to elect a political leader to lead us.
I like that you said you want your views to be taken into consideration. Is that same for you, Michael?
I don't usually get engaged in those political things because they seem like inconspicuous person. But me being as a first-time voter, I think it will create a lot of opportunity for me, for people who will now be seeing me, engaging me into political activities in my community.
Is that the same reason why you also want to register, Esther? All right. So before we continue, let me let you understand that this is a Ghana community. Yes, that's how we're going to do it. So now Esther is saying that she wants to vote because she believes that you start engaging yourself in political issues. They see you as someone who has a lot to give, right, Esther? Now, I know that we are in an area that everybody says, oh, I'm going to register. Oh, I'm going to vote. We've heard about it. What are some of the things that you've heard about the election process, the registration process that you want to share?
Okay, what I usually have been hearing that people are normally not 18, but people usually force to bring them to the registration center to be registered so that they can get the opportunity to vote because they need more votes in their parties. So it normally creates confusion at the registration center.
But does that work? Because we have authorities at the registration centers. Are these people caught?
Like he said, it's very true. So sometimes you see that some people are not 18 yet, but they get to register. So I don't know. But I would suggest that, you see, we all have birth sets. So if it's possible, then we should use our birth set to guarantee that we are 18 years. Because some people will just bring some random person and then claim she's my auntie, she's my this and that, and then the person will just testify that, oh, she just turned 18 or he just turned 18, and then the person will just be registered.
For Abigail, is that the same thing for you? Have you been hearing that they said people come there that are not 18 years? Is that also the story you've heard? Or there's another story you've also heard?
Mostly there's misunderstanding over there as compared to what Esther said, which leads to people fighting, which causes damages. Like last 4 years, there was a lot of damages over there.
Alright. Is that the same thing for you, Godwin?
Yeah, and what I've also witnessed and heard is you have to go there early. People usually use chairs, stones to kill. Yeah. So like when you go and meet those stones and chairs there, they will be expecting you to stand behind those chairs and stuff. So when they come and they see you have bypassed the stones, they will actually fight you, which I think is not good. They should be there themselves.
There's misunderstanding. I see that. And you, is that the same thing for you?
Also, I've also noticed a different thing altogether. The political leaders will be interfering in the work of the EC officials. They think they have brought their people. The person is underage. Because they brought the person by force, you have to register the person when the person is not even 18 years.
Is that the same thing you've also witnessed, William?
Yeah, I'm sure. I won't argue less though. Yeah, it's the same thing. It cuts across in various ways.
When I was young, my mom used to catch me and pull my ears and say, why are you asking questions? Don't ask. When it's your turn, you do. So when I was finally going to register, I was telling people, I cannot wait to go and do that. I mean, when you speak to your friends, do you also feel the same way? What are some of the things you discuss with your peers about registration and the election?
All right, actually, I feel so much excited about it. I tell them as much as it's supposed to be, how much is very, very important for me particularly, because I've seen a lot of things that are happening in the community, and I know that my votes being a part of it can help change. And I've set eyes on people.
Now I have the opportunity to use my time to bring someone into power, because when they had their chance, I don't have my chance. So they have their chance to talk whether they will choose this and choose this. So I don't have to engage in those things. But since now I'm being registered, so now my time will be more important to them, that I can bring this one into power.
I see. This is the segment I say, let's go straight to the classroom. Let's write on our board 3 things or 3 issues that will influence our decision to register. Now, you know what? I am not shocked that I see a lot of education written here, because we have young ones, and these young ones are still, going through the education system of Ghana. I have here, William has on his board education. You care to explain why you have education on your board?
Yes, education is mandatory for every youth. Yeah, because it gives you a clear focus on life.
Okay, the reason why I want to register is because most of the people in the country are not able to attend schooling because of lack of finance, but the government has, introduced free education, which is helping us, maybe helping those who are not able to fund for their awards fees.
So you are saying that through free SHS, parents that weren't able to fund their children's school fees finally have the chance to do so.
Most parents that can't afford anything to maybe any amount of money to put his or a child in school, because of free SHS, they were able to go to school, and it's good. Follow every school because JHS like within SHS any afford a mommy school drop out, and then you see this teenage pregnancy and then peer pressure and stuff. They will join other, but because of free SHS, they were able to go to school.
I mean, do we all agree that free SHS has served its purpose? Nico, I see you shaking your head.
It's true that a lot of people get a chance to, go to school. I'm not sure it's reduced this school dropout issue, because still people got a chance to go and then they still dropped out because of, let's say, teenage pregnancy.
Yeah.
Education is there for all of us to gain knowledge, but getting pregnancy is individual decision. Some people will be asked to go to school and go and hide in the boys' room or their so-called sugar daddy's room, get pregnant. That's not the cost of free education. Go to class and go and learn. Choose to go and get pregnant. It's none of the government's business. You choose to go and do it. Government say go and sit in the classroom and learn. Free education has come to serve its purpose. If you haven't done anything at all, at least for financial aspects, has reduced the burden.
So saying that it has calmed finances down in homes. Most of us are all saying that it has served its purpose, right? Anyone disagreeing again? It has? No, so now you've changed your mind.
What I was saying is that it has served its purpose. But my sister said it has helped reduce teenage pregnancy, and for that I don't disagree with.
Another thing I see on lots of boards is employment. Now let me come straight to you. You said you won't be registering, but I see employment on your board. So how is this influencing your decision not to register?
Somebody will go through the education system through to master's level. That person will not get anything to do. So what the relevance of us putting leaders there who are enriching themselves, who are employing their children to come and work in the government they are in. Meanwhile, their children are not even fit to work. It's like you are fitting a square peg in a round wood. So me actually, because of that, I'm not voting. I'm not registering.
We are here in Jamestown. There's a number of places. Even the harbour is behind us. Are you saying that people cannot work there?
So when I ask you to go to the seaside and go and work at that harbour, I say maybe a pongpo worker. I mean, a pongpo worker. Those who carry the cement and the things. And then they'll give you 15 cedis. Where you go?
But you have to eat.
You have to, but I won't take this. Let me tell you, we are human beings, so I have integrity, I have dignity. For the fact that I have to, doesn't mean I have to rub my dignity on the floor for 15 cedis. Go and carry that. So at the end of the 15 cedis, maybe I get 8, or maybe I fall down, maybe something happened to me. I have to go to hospital out of that 15 cedis, because in the country where health insurance is not working, that 15 cedis, what people will he save?
Yeah, I can bear with him, but I wouldn't say it should be based on you deciding not to register, because registration is very, very important. You wouldn't know, but later on you would come back to that. And about unemployment, it's very crucial, because I see people within my age category going about to find jobs and everything, but then they come back empty-handed.
Most of the educated people want white-collar jobs. Whereby there are normal jobs they can do just to feed themselves, but they want the white-collar jobs so that they will get to know what they are capable of doing.
Yeah, I totally agree with my sister here. There are works, but people look on they feel shy that they will do certain works. But let me tell you, the Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, and the rest, they didn't get to where they are. They started small. They face challenges. So if you have the small jobs you have to do, you wait for a big job. When it comes, you do. Yeah, so I disagree. I agree with it.
Not that the jobs are not there, to be sincere. We shouldn't be deceiving ourselves. Let's take someone like Ododo, for example. How many jobs can those who say they are the jobs that they can mention? Let me tell you, if you say about food selling, they are selling the foods. Let me tell you about the arbor work. They are doing it. It will end. There's a duration to end. If that person in that job today, if that work is done today, and they commission the arbor, those who went to do the pump, what work are they going to do again? Until there will be another government work around. No, they are not getting the jobs. So apart from those I can tell you sincerely, those having the degrees in this environment, they are not waiting for any white-collar job. As you mentioned, like Zuckerberg and those people, they were able to come up they were having favorable conditions. Outside, even if you are a cleaner, you are better off than a medical doctor in Ghana.
But have you been outside before? How sure are you that?
It hasn't been there, but I was able to mention it. So I'm also trying to say, out of what I've also heard, you can be there as a cleaner, you are better off than a medical doctor in this country.
Let's be sincere to our fellow human beings in this country. Our political leaders are full of tribalism, nepotism. Let's say me, I'm an educated person, and I hold my degree. I have my master, I have my PhDs. I came for a job interview. Although what I did was good enough than your family member, but because he is your family member, you are trying to put him there. If he's a common floor member, you try to put him there. So he's saying atawo nuchumo tao ya not ya atawo nuchumo mlenche ya atawo nuchumo nikentele we mokoje ewe kunjoni ebake iwe kunjoni odo nuchumo tao manika asani kan kuni shikaba we kuem.
Now, according to Isaac, he says that there's too much nepotism. People are playing favorites. When you go to look for jobs, people would rather put their family members, their friends, their church members, their pastors' wives, rather in there instead of people who deserve these positions. Let me get to you, Nico. What do you want to see that you say, okay, I have finally changed my mind and I would register this year? What do you want to see?
This year, there's nothing that will change my mind to register this year when they are done with their voting this year and then the next government comes. I just want the next government to start its governance with what he promised from the beginning to the end of the 4th year before I start voting.
All right, let me come to you, Joseph.
Every leader has a manifesto that it comes out with it, and then they comes with a manifesto, but at the latter end they are not able to fulfill their promise. For example, if you see my where I said no infrastructure in the hospital. Recently at Nyame Polyclinic, someone died because there was no bed. If you see all the building, there's only 2 beds containing about 10 to 15 people, and every bed you have to pay. And still, the cost of living in Ghana is what? Very, very high.
So what do you want to see?
So until I see a change.
Where?
Until I see a change in the health sector, education, and then employment, I think I can change my mind to vote. All
right. Let me end with you, Nyame, because you also said that you do not want to register. As I said, it's your civic responsibility. So what do you want to see that will influence you to say, okay, I've changed my mind and I would register?
You first mentioned that it's my civic right. As I was growing up, I learned that too, the voters are easy to go to the bank and do things. But praise be to God, in Anadu, they have brought Ghana card. I have my Ghana card. I'm a citizen of this country. So that one, case closed. I'm not registering. But what also convinced me more to register next 4 years or next time to register, I want a government for the people, by the people, and with the people. I don't want a government who will see somewhere, come and smell oil on our mouth the first year, then the 4th, they will come and smell more oil on our mouth, then we'll go and change our mind. It won't happen. Thank you. Right.
So at the end of the day, we are all saying that we want a peaceful election. We all want to go and register and come back home safe and sound. Abby? Yeah. All right. So remember this. Participating in the electioneering process is your civic responsibility. You have a voice, so use it because your voice matters and so does your vote. On 7th May, we will come back here to see what happens, to see whether those who said they won't register have changed their mind, and to actually see if those who said will register will be in the line. Let us shape the future that you and I want to see together. From Akam Manjen, right here in Jamestown, this is Just Turned 18. My name is Loishola Ademi, and I'll see you very soon in your area.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
All right, welcome back, and we've just listened to a wrap of the first episode of Just Turned 18. It's a show designed to test the pulse of first-time voters in this upcoming election. Now, of course, from tomorrow, a registration exercise will begin. That's the opportunity for a lot of these young people to get their names onto the ballot. But they are already raising some issues around it. Let's talk about solutions. We're joined over the phone by Joyce Nyame. She's a programs manager at Youth Bridge Foundation. Joyce, what a pleasure to have you on the show. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. It's a pleasure as well.
So I noticed that a lot of the young people are concerned about the process, the tedium of the process, having to queue behind stones and chairs, stand in the hot sun just to get their names on the voters' roll. I mean, this is a reality. It happens to all of us. But what's the way around it? How can we ensure that young people don't get put to too much inconvenience that might end up discouraging them from exercising their civic duty?
Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I would like to say congratulations to Joy for this initiative. I think this aligns to what the Youth Foundation has been doing over the years to ensure that, as you said, young people are not discouraged from the process that leads to election. So one, as a company, I think we need to have a conversation around making sure that young people are on the tables when it comes to these processes. So, for instance, as you said, we are going to start voter registration. How are we ensuring that the time the values are convenient to young people, and even the information back to them to know that this is the period for which they should be able to join the process to be able to be eligible to vote? And then also, how do we make sure that the information around the processes in a way that these people can access? So we are not just about English language, but in other formats that young people and even young persons with disability can also access. So there is a need for a whole inclusivity and also responsiveness when it comes to these processes so young people can access them.
Do you find that the authorities are alive to these concerns and are designing solutions to them?
I would say yes and no, because as you know, this voter registration, the EC is making efforts to reach young people in the tertiary institutions. So there are provisions made for in-school registration, on the tertiary schools. But when we say young people, we are not just looking at the people in the tertiary schools, that is the in-school youth. There are other people outside this group of people. So how do we make sure that even the person in the community, and then we also want to applaud the EC that it is also making efforts to reach the people, what they call the far-to-reach areas. We applaud that. But there is a need for more efforts to make sure that most of the young people are reached in this area.
Right. We're also joined by Kathleen Addy, Chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education. Kathy, good morning. Thanks for making the time.
Good morning, Kojo.
Now, you've actually been around the country. You've got to interact with a lot of these first-time voters. Do you find that they actually understand the importance of carrying out this civic duty, registering and voting?
Thank you very much. Yes, a lot of people do understand the importance of undertaking this civic duty of exercising your mandate to be part of electing leaders of the country. A lot of them do understand. Others do not understand the weight of the matter, how important it is, in the sense that a lot of people take the democracy for granted, and they think that, well, at the end of the day, things will run by themselves, and there will be an outcome, and then life just goes on. But it's very important that we bear in mind that this democracy that we are currently exercising was won at a very high price, and we must do all we can to ensure that we do the things that need to be done to deepen the democratic culture and to sanitize the political culture. Right. So for young people, I would tell them that, the democracies don't run themselves, and it takes the people who have come together to agree that they will be part of a democratic system. It takes those people and the things they do to ensure that it's actually running properly.
Now, we had one young person give his reason for not registering to vote, and he said that in the past the voter's ID card was needed as a means of identification. Not anymore, because he now has the Ghana card. And that was his reason for not registering to vote. Have you found a lot of people thinking along these lines? Has the Ghana card somehow become an impediment to people's motivation to register to vote?
Are you saying that he does not have a Ghana card, or he has a Ghana card?
He has a Ghana card, and his opinion is that the voter's ID in the past was a necessary document for identification, not just for voting, but for identification in bank transactions, registering for stuff. But now the Ghana card plays that role. So if he has a Ghana card, he doesn't need to register for a voter's ID card.
Can he vote with a Ghana card?
Well, he doesn't even consider voting to be an important.
I get the sentiment, and I think that, the ideal situation that eventually the country is driving towards is to have one identification system that can be used across all the services that are required, the identification. But at this point, I'm not sure that you can actually vote with your Ghana card unless the Electoral Commission has actually come to say that.
No, you can't.
I am not clear on that at all. So if you can't vote with your Ghana card, and how having a Ghana card, it becomes the reason for which you will not go and get a voter ID card.
Yeah, I think it speaks to the fact that they don't consider the value of the ID card as an opportunity to vote. They don't consider the opportunity to vote to be as important as the need to have an identification document.
Yes, but the two are not mutually exclusive. You need your identification card and you need a voter card to vote, to actually participate in the election. So then it will mean that they don't attach such a high value to actually exercising their vote. And that's where the problem really is.
Precisely the point I'm raising. Yeah,
with the ID card as such.
That is the point I'm raising with you, Kathy, because it is your organization's job to sensitize people to the importance of voting. And I gave that example to show that some young people don't even consider voting to be the point of a voter's ID card.
Okay, but okay. I get you now. Well, that is unfortunate, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done around education to get people to understand the importance of this exercise. There's no question about that.
So what exactly are you going to do to ensure, especially since the registration exercise begins tomorrow, what more can you do to ensure that young people get how important this is?
Well, the registration starts tomorrow. We will continue to deepen activities that bring awareness and sensitization to the population in general. But this year especially, because of the population dynamics and the fact that we have a youth vote, and we have the fact that so many new voters are coming onto the roll this year, a lot of our programs, we have a special set of programs that are targeted at young people specifically. And so driving the votes, people going out to register to vote, is one of the things that we are paying a lot of attention to.
Joyce, let me bring you in. Obviously, tomorrow is the start of the registration exercise. What can Youth Bridge Foundation focus on in order to improve the chances of young people actually taking up this civic duty of theirs?
Okay, thank you very much, Kojo. So when you mentioned that a young person has stated he's not going to register because now he has a Ghana card, I was just smiling. This is it's a call for the fact that there is a need for conscious effort when we are creating content and messaging around some of these things. So if we are going to have a registration exercise of this sort, the conversation historically has been, as a young person, when you get to 18, register, you get a voter ID as an identification card before the bit about voting comes in. So stay up in your mind, you need to register to get your voter's ID, can get an identity as a guide. So there's a need for us to change the messaging. So what we do mostly in the Youth Foundation is the fact that we mobilize these young people, raise awareness on the need for them to participate in this exercise as one, as as being nationalistic in the country. It's not just about getting an identity, but it is something that is going on and you need to participate as a young person. Two, we need to let them be involved. If I say involved, not just going to them with the messaging, but letting them understand that this is for you. How do we make sure that we reach you? How do we make sure you understand the issues that we are bringing on board? So, as I initially said, with the foundation every election year, and then ahead or before, after every election year, we make sure that we inspire or ignite the passion among young people to be part. So it's not just about getting the identity as a Ghanaian, but you are excited to vote for the first time. You are excited. So we use words like you are a kingmaker because your vote counts. Then people are excited to be part of the processes. So there is a need for us to make them part of the processes and enjoy and be inspired to go and register to vote, not just have the identity card.
Your efforts are crowned with a good outcome. Kathleen, do you have a target? I mean, are you, as an educating institution, do you have a target? Are you hoping that through your work you'll be able to achieve a certain level of participation among first-time voters from tomorrow?
Yeah, well, the ideal situation is that every single first-time voter understands the seriousness of the issue and understands that, all these things are connected. There are consequences for registering to vote. There are consequences for not registering to vote. We are in a country where a lot of young people are disillusioned. They feel there are many problems. And they have to understand that they have to be part of the solution. And part of being part of the solution is exercising your mandate to actually be part of electing leaders. And to do so in a very conscientious way. And to do so in a way that is meaningful, that is intentional, so that you go out there not just to pick up the card to tick a box, but on voting day to actually get up, go to the polling station, queue, and cast your ballot. So our target is really, ideally, to be able to ensure that every new voter, every existing voter is duly prepared, and every new voter will take all the steps necessary to ensure that they're able to cast their ballot. So we are not having a target of one or the other, but ideally we should be able to capture or touch or inform everybody who needs the information.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I want to thank you both for your time with us this morning. Been enlightening. Joyce Nyame is Programs Manager at Youth Bridge Foundation, and Kathleen Addy is Chairperson of the National Commission for Civic Education. We appreciate you both very much. So this is what the young man said, what I was referring to when I was talking to Kathleen. Just listen to him.
Because you also said that you do not want to register. As I said, it's your civic responsibility. So what do you want to see that will influence you to say, okay, I've changed my mind and I would register?
You first mentioned that it's my civic right. As I was growing up, I learned that the voters are easy to go to the bank and do this. But praise be to God, in Anadu, they have lost Ghana card. I have my Ghana card. I'm a citizen of this country. So that one, case closed. I'm not registering. But also,
he's quite categorical. The civic duty aspect is not even registering for him. As far as he's aware, growing up, the voter's ID was a means of identification for getting things like bank accounts and so forth. But now there's another document for that, the Ghana card. And so he is not going to register. Simple.
Is that a chicken and egg situation? First and foremost, I mean, see, you can't blame him 100% for it. First, he has a role to play in a democracy, which includes voting. It's a civic duty. In fact, it is an offense to sell your vote. Think about it that way.
Yeah.
It's an offense to sell your vote. You have a right to vote and be voted for. He says, I don't want to exercise that right. I'm not even interested in taking the steps that allows me to do so by acquiring the card. Because to me, the use of that card was identification, which luckily there are alternatives now. So I prefer going through all the stress to get a Ghana card. And so not the voter ID. Whilst I am with those who say, yes, this is terrible conduct, this is unacceptable. People fought for our democracy. People lost their lives to get it happening. And earlier on, I was referencing that there was a time in this country that elections were being held, and it was only rich people who owned houses and land who were actually asked to vote in that election. To be a taxpayer and not have a say in how your governance is done is problematic. So the expression taxation without representation, some people fought wars to correct that. So that fundamentally is true. But we have also admitted in this country, I've read an article in Repeater saying the Ghanaians vote, they do not choose. Who actually ends up becoming their leader. We should be interested in addressing why people are disillusioned, or the young person who should be more engaged, because at that age, Kojo, some of us were we were ideologues 100%. Our vision for a better Ghana, making some systems work, building a better state, even the continental unity and all of that, were very strong. But with time, they exhibit to you the realities, the underbelly of a country that's not willing to progress. It was Dr. J.Y. Amoako of the Africa Center for Economic Transformation who in 2011 asked the question, are we getting the dividends expected of our democracy? If the gentleman feels that he will make a change, a difference, or he's relevant to that democracy, he would participate in it because his life will depend on it and is sufficiently interested in it. We have given them reason to believe that it's business as usual and that that vote might not even make a lot of change anyway, and that vote is equal to another person's vote, and that the person can sell their vote for 100 cedi and other things can actually influence all of that. So instead of condemning young people who are, not so interested, we should really look at ourselves critically and ask ourselves the question, have we garnered enough interest in these people? Have we imbibed the values that will make them feel that it's their responsibility to not only maintain, but also make sure that our system progress?
Yeah. There's another side to this. Just before I bring that up, let me quickly just put out this bit of information. So an electric pole has fallen onto the road near the Victory Bible Church, like their main headquarters. Yes. Look, it's got wires lying in the rain, so it's not very safe.
Oh, okay.
If we can have the fire service go and help out, or whichever relevant authority can go and make that place safe, please, because it's potentially quite a hazard. An electric pole has fallen onto the road near the Victory Bible Church, the main branch, and the wires are in the rain, and it needs some securing for the safety of the public. Yes, now there's another side to this conversation. Raymond, do you think the political parties are properly strategizing to target this really important demographic? This over 850,000 young people who will be voting for the first time. Are the parties thinking about them?
Yes, at different levels. For example, candidates for MP positions know where they live, know which constituencies they belong to, and which areas they belong to. So what they do is that they are, for example, if in the University of Ghana, they'll target the first year students, maybe people who are likely to be. So the candidates go there, they put the bars there because they are made to suffer. And that's a point that I've made here before. Suffer to travel from Legon, for example, to go as far as the EC's old headquarters at Ridge to go and register. They put a bus there, go and put them there. Some even give them food so that they can go and be in the queue for 6 hours or more before they can get registered. That's how they know them. Again, they're also because they live in communities and how they structure their system. Police stations have executives. Police stations are people who live around the place and they know the people who come there to register. They know who's got a child who is 16, 17 and going to school or just came back from school. If your question is they are targeting them to get them interested in their affairs, no. They believe that merely because the gentleman is from this area and the family is MPP, the tendency that will be MPP is also high. So let's target that guy. On the other side, they will use ethnicity, they will use the inclinations of other family members to project that he will also be with us. So let's get them together and come and actually vote for us. So that is the targeting. They are not targeting them with political education. They're not telling them that, listen, our policies, our ideological leaning is the one that's best for this country. No. They know those ones are not the ones they want to engage them on. Anyway, they may not even know that in the first place, because after how many of these candidates go around with some of these arguments anyway. So yes, they are targeting them, but they are targeting them poorly. The answers the kids want, the kind of system, and I'm saying at that age there's a lot of idealism. They are willing to change the world. Sometimes the people lose their idealism along the line because this system bombards you with a lot of nonsense that sometimes you feel powerless. But at that age, they are what they are looking for is whether or not, because they are from the voter region, they are automatically supposed to vote in a line. That's not what they are looking for. They are looking for people who will make the world a better place with their contribution on board. But that's not what we are serving them. That's why some of them feel, okay, well, if it's business as usual, why should I work out? In fact, I've heard the gentleman send me a message in a conversation. He says, why should I be finding job for somebody's father? In the throes of that, giving that particular father my job, what happens to my own father? So if my own father is not an active participant and I therefore become a beneficiary of the system, why should it be my business to do so? I mean, I thought about it for a second. It's not a nation state building they're talking about. They're talking about the pecuniary benefits, but what makes you think that the people at the top, they're talking about any nation state anyway? Indeed. What evidence is there to suggest that the people think about the state more than their individual pockets? But what we cannot, and we thought we have insulated kids from this, but they are not stupid people. They know what is to their benefit and what's not to their benefit. They know when systems are going well and not going well. They know when the household economy has been so damaged and affected that their personal economy is equally affected. They know all of these things. The problem is that we don't engage them well enough. And the proper engagements, even the education they get, it's not the one that makes them, I mean, people who would do what is expected of them as citizens of a state. And we should admit to some of these things and correct it, not just for votes. Not just because we want them to add up in the numbers, so we have 2 million young people registering. But because we want them to be proper citizens in a state that is bound to get a better future.
I'll tell you what I find interesting. In this coming election, the two major political parties are going to be taking a very different approach to this particular group. So the NPP, obviously, as we've talked about already, will be relying on that gratitude that will come from the free SHS system, right? But we need to state that this group, this demographic, they are not all 18 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
Some will be 19, 20, 21, even 22. Those who were not 18 at the time of the last election, but are eligible now. So yes, some of them will even be 22 years old, right? But will be registering for the first time this year.
Or some of us who have been deprived of registration for a very long time
and
would attempt
precisely. But anyway, at least for the young, those who are joining because they are now eligible, there is at least a 4-year range there for them. Now, the NPP is going to be relying on the fact that a lot of these people will be beneficiaries of the free SHS system. So they will be personally grateful to the NPP. The NDC is most likely to be relying on the fact that these young people are not economic decision makers yet. Their parents are. So their parents are the ones who will be making commentary about how the economy is going. Their parents are the ones who will be talking about dissatisfaction with the way of life and how expensive things are. So they are hoping that these young people will be more influenced by their parents than their personal circumstance, while the NPP will be hoping that they are more influenced by their personal experience, free SHS, than their parents. Which of them will be right?
That's an interesting
Yes, that is an interesting thing we will discover as these things unfold. But of course, that was Just Turned 18, which is a Joy Prime produced show brought to you by Youth Bridge Foundation and Star Ghana Foundation. It is part of our election headquarters.